Life arose here on the Earth virtually the instant the Earth could support life. I cannot conceive it hasn't happened in myriads of other places.
For me, a definition of life is something which can adapt to change and evolve to take account of that change.
The young generations will have solid proofs that life is blooming everywhere else in the universe.
Finding life beyond the confines of Earth has always excited people, both the public and scientists. Yet until recently, the search for extraterrestrial life was perceived to be a rather exotic exercise, more at home in science fiction than in the realm of real science. But this has changed. With the discovery both of complex molecules in space and of planets outside of the solar system, made possible by new sophisticated instruments on the ground and in space, physicists, biologists, chemists, cosmologists and astronomers now have tools in their hands to try to answer this age-old question: is there life elsewhere in the universe? What do young Europeans think about this fascinating subject? In November 2001, young people from all over Europe gathered at a major conference at CERN to discuss prospects and implications of finding extraterrestrial life. In the summer of that year, Europe's leading intergovernmental science organizations, CERN, ESA, ESO and EMBL, together with the European Association for Astronomy Education, joined forces to carry out a major educational outreach program with the title Life in the Universe, covering 23 countries and thousands of young people. The program was part of the European Science and Technology Week, an initiative by the European Commission to stimulate public awareness and interest in science. A competition for 15 to 18-year-old students and their teachers was held in each country. Contributions could be scientific reports or proposals for future space missions, but also theatrical performances, poetry, or even a musical performance. The only restriction was that the final work must be based on scientific evidence. On Wednesday, the 7th of November, about 170 young people and 50 teachers arrived at the gates of CERN in Geneva. They were all winners of the National First Prize, an invitation to take part in a 3-day conference at CERN, with all costs covered, to meet with some of Europe's leading scientists engaged in this field. What was in store for the participants was 3 exciting days in a truly international atmosphere, and complete immersion into the world of science in the world's leading facility for research into particle physics. The participants were welcomed by members of CERN's visitors service and thoroughly briefed on the plans for the meeting. Each team was given a special guide of the same nationality to look after the well-being of the young people and their accompanying teachers during the stay. A part of the task of the participants was to show their winning projects to the other teams. For this purpose, exhibition booths had been mounted in the hallways of the CERN main building, complete with PCs and internet access. The first task then was to decorate the stands and prepare the project demonstrations for the next day. In this completely new environment, with so many exciting things waiting to happen, what did the young people expect and feel was most important for them?
Oh, the important is to be here, and I'm very proud to participate in this contest, and I will learn a lot, I'm sure of that, so that's most important.
For me, the most important is to discover how other students from around Europe, what do they think about the life in the universe.
I think it is really great that we can see also the other project, that we can see what different people have made of this subject, and I think that's a very interesting thing.
Probably to meet and talk with the judges and get a feel for how science is at the top level, because this is science at a fairly basic level.
Where the young people have their chance to show.
On the following morning, while the young participants were still having breakfast, the day began with a briefing of a very different group of participants, the scientific experts. Like the young people, they had come to CERN from near and far to interact with the winning teams in several ways. One task was to act as an international jury, to identify the very best of the winning contributions, which were to be awarded the super prizes. Visits to ESA's launch site, Spaceport Kourou in French Guiana, and to Europe's research base for astronomy in the Chilean Atacama Desert, the ESO Paranal Observatory, where some of the most advanced astronomical research is going on right now.
Life in the universe is part of a much larger series of events taking place all over Europe in the European Week of Science and Technology. This program.
Meanwhile, all participants had gathered in CERN's huge auditorium, and the formal opening by CERN's Director General, Professor Luciano Maiani, could take place. This venerable auditorium has probably seen more Nobel Prize winners talking about complex scientific matters than any other lecture theatre in the world, but Professor Maiani stressed that science has many sides to it.
For 3 days, you will live in a very exciting world where you can interact with people of your own age with similar interests from 22 other countries. Use this opportunity, mix and make friends, and above all, have fun. Thank you very much.
Yes, fun and excitement are important drivers for scientific work. And the first plenary lecture made the participants feel that this is indeed true. The lecture was given by Professor Michel Mayor, who made the first discovery of an extrasolar planet in 1995. After the introductory lecture, the exhibition opened and the scientific experts could begin their difficult evaluation job. Who were the most excited? The young people, who would have world-leading scientists scrutinize their work, or the experts? These had familiarized themselves with the project contributions prior to the meeting, as abstracts of the work had to be submitted in advance. But this was their first encounter with a bunch of clever and enthusiastic young people, many of whom may end up as the next generation of scientists. Choosing the best was no easy task, given the great variation of the contributions.
You aliens!
On-stage presentations were shown in the CERN auditorium. As mentioned, the competition was open both to scientific and to artistic categories. Because some artistic presentations required more space, these were set up in the CERN auditorium. But science returned with the afternoon lecture by Juan Pérez Mercader, director of the Institute for Astrobiology in Madrid and a most inspiring lecturer. With such a compact program, many people would happily have looked forward to a quiet evening, but not so for the participants to this Life in the Universe final event. For their part, the experts went through the grueling first selection process, identifying 14 finalists from 77 contributions. Given the overall quality, this was by no means straightforward, but at the end, 14 projects, all with features that made them truly special when compared to the others, were chosen. It was crowded that evening in CERN's cafeteria as all participants gathered a last time for the day to hear the results of the jury's deliberations. Richard West from ESO and chairman of the Life in the Universe Steering Committee made the announcement. Tension gave way to spontaneous applause.
All of these 14 entries have something special in them, and I'm sure you will feel that tomorrow when they will be presented.
For the finalists, rather than celebrating their successes, next on the long day's program was preparation for the coming day's plenary session.
Also, I'm here to take you on an interplanetary trip.
Friday began with another high-grade talk by Athena Koustanis of the Meudon Observatory, who took the participants on a tour de force of the current search for life in the solar system, including Titan, Saturn's cloud-shrouded moon, and possibly the best candidate for hosting life outside the Earth.
Titan happens to be the only satellite in our solar system that has a thick and extended atmosphere.
In this self-sustainable ecosystem.
And then, time had come for the finalists, team by team, to present their work. This was surely a multiple challenge for the young people, speaking in public to a large audience in what to most of them was a foreign language, and presenting complicated subjects in a clear and convincing way. Again, both scientific and artistic presentations demonstrated how broad the subject of extraterrestrial life is, enabling many ways of dealing with it.
So it doesn't apply.
Look, don't you want to walk alone? Find it!
And then another keynote lecture on the subject of possible reception and decoding of extraterrestrial signals, given by Ian Morrison from the Jodrell Bank Observatory, known for his lively style and wonderfully clear presentations.
In fact, they're like to be far more intelligent than us.
Were the participants reaching the point of exhaustion? If so, they had no time to reflect on it, because now the meeting changed format, introducing what the organizers had dubbed circles, an innovative idea enabling the young people and the scientific experts to interact very closely in sessions debating a range of subjects, such as, would you prefer to be an astronaut or a researcher? How would society react if we discovered life in the universe? Do you think that other civilizations are colonizing the universe? Should we strive to colonize other solar systems in the far future? Life in the universe as described by science fiction and by science. What is common? What is different? Science fiction? A waste of time?
But at least you provide with the energy.
Lose your motivation because you don't know what to choose.
Saturday morning. Time to relax the CERN way. Organized trips took the young people on tours of the large CERN site, beginning at Cosmorama, the interactive science exhibition, and continuing through the large experimental halls of CERN. A chance to look behind the curtains of some of the most advanced scientific experiments that humankind has ever undertaken, involving awesome technology and gigantic machines to study the smallest things on Earth, the elementary particles of which everything is made. Reports from the circles was next on the agenda. Young students who had acted as scientific secretaries to the circles summarized the discussions at the last plenary session in CERN's auditorium.
If we have any responsibility towards the Earth, because
Have you ever looked up on a dark, starry night and wondered, are we alone in our universe? Have you ever asked the question?
And then the meeting had arrived at the grand finale, a webcast from one of the large experimental halls, an on-stage TV show accessible worldwide via the internet. Outside temperatures had dropped dramatically during this November day, but this remained the hot moment of the meeting. 90 minutes on stage, recapping some of the meeting's highlights and introducing new discussion partners. A live link was established to the Space Expo at ESA's Technology Centre in the Netherlands, enabling participants there to take part in the event.
Online. Aztec, can you hear us? Yes, there they are.
Another link was established to the Exploratorium in San Francisco, where Dan Werthemer presented the SETI Institute.
The idea is to look for a strong signal. We don't know the frequency, so we need to tune across the radio dial, looking at as many channels as we can.
He's asking, is it possible to make an artificial atmosphere on Mars?
It will take time, but in principle it's possible.
Meanwhile, emails started pouring in from all over Europe, from people who were following the event online, taking the opportunity of asking questions directly to the scientists.
Small wobbles.
It's very near the equator.
The high point of the webcast was the announcement of the winners of the top prizes, and last but not least, the two super prizes. A once-in-a-lifetime experience of watching a launch of an Ariane rocket from the ESA spaceport, or a visit to the ESO Paranal Observatory to see the gigantic mirrors as they move across the sky, scrutinizing the most distant regions of the universe, and offering us a glimpse of the universe as it looked a short time after it was formed.
Each of them is 8 meters big.
Which teams would turn out to have made the best contributions of them all?
We realized when we saw this team that we could certainly use their help to design the first manned colony away from the planet, the super space station going beyond the International Space Station. So we invite our colleagues from Austria to come to
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now to the other super prize.
The winner of the prize to go to Paranal, to stay with the astronomers, and perhaps to find that planets we never know, is Hungary.
So now it's time to say goodbye from CERN in Geneva, from Paula and myself, from all of the judges.
Is there life outside the Earth? We still don't know, of course. But the meeting demonstrated that searching for life elsewhere involves exciting science and constitutes a field filled with possibilities for discoveries for a new generation of both scientific and artistically minded young people. Could it be that sometime in the future one of the young participants will become the scientist who discovers the first alien life form?